Hello and welcome to Deepnight Revelation. Got confused there for a second. I didn't know which game we were running. We will be picking up where we left off last week. These guys have they have the RSS Leonard Husey of the Soleimani Confederation Rimward exploration mission. Also going to Terminus Point. They've kind of joined forces, and they have the Leonard Husey traveling with them, while the other two ships, the Frank Wild and the Anthrake, the Frank Wild is decided to start the long journey back home to the tune of probably not a full 8 years, and because if they if they just stay rimward, they've got pretty much a straight line back into Confederation territory. If they cross the rift, then yeah, it's going to be about 8 or 9 years. But they have taken some of the crew that decided they wanted to go back to charted space, and they're taking all of the scientific data that has been collected thus far, and they are taking messages home and all of that stuff. And that way, if Revelation doesn't return, then they will not be forgotten, and everything that they learned will not be lost. I mean, there is the buoys that they've dropped, and there was a promise of a follow-up expedition. Of course, they, with no contact with charted space, they would have no way of knowing if that has followed through or not. They don't know what's going on back in charted space. And so in our next campaign, we will explore some of what's going on in charted space. But anyways, so they are heading to Terminus Point with the Leonard Husey, while the Anthrake stays at Admonson Point, and kind of they're going to wait like 3 or 4 months. And if no word, if the Revelation and the Leonard Husey doesn't come back, then the decision will be made by Captain Brittain on whether or not to either jump forward to Terminus Point as a rescue mission, or to turn around and head home themselves. And so they're kind of the last ditch effort that can be put in. But the travelers scouted ahead, and because of the next refueling point. Not the next refueling point, they found a ship in distress of a 600 tons of a class that they had never seen before, but it was pretty obvious that it was your typical tramp freighter kind of ship. And when they boarded it, they found out that they had been hit by pirates, who apparently these pirates are Furbolg, and they met the Furbolg many miles back, many years back. They were like a barely a Bronze Age society, but these Furbolg evidently are spacefaring, and from what they understand, it sounds like they may have devolved a bit. And the ship that they were flying has all the telltale signs of droid technology, and so there is some question of, maybe they had an interaction with the droid, or what have you. But they rescued the crew of this ship, and they are now taking them home, and they have one more jump. Well, they've got two more jumps. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. Yep, so two more jumps, and they will be at a location that the crew of this derelict ship that they found tells them it's called Rowdlin's Port, and it seems to be kind of a free port in the region. There are a number of planets in this region that have been settled, and Rowdlin's Port is kind of a free port where everybody comes, and essentially it sounds like they trade in salvage. And all of these ships that the port builds, they are all constructed from salvage. And so that's where we will be picking up. Before we get started, I would like to mention that on Sunday there will be a holiday sale for the Braunhaven PDFs on DriveThru RPG. It will go from Sunday the 21st through January 2nd. And it is all PDFs are going to be 50% off for that time period. And so that will be going on. If you were looking for a last minute gift, role players generally like PDFs because they're instant and easy to access. Everybody's got a phone, everybody's got a tablet, and so they can make for a great gift. And so that will be available for quite some time, from the 21st through January 2nd, as our Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you. All right, so returning to this site, so one of the big questions that we kind of ended on last week is on returning that Sarda wanted to be wary of, this ship kind of left floating out here. They were evidently hit by an EMP, and but the crew says it didn't seem like there was an explosion. There was no nuke that went off or anything like that that would generally be associated with an EMP. And so there was some question about whether or not there was any real big major danger. But it was Jack, or Mel and Sarda's viewpoint that this ship was kind of floating out there like it was bait. And so, returning to this system, anybody who would like to can make a electronic sensors plus intellect or education check. And I realize that's probably usually Sarda.
We can try.
Yeah, I've got electronics. I've no points in sensors, but I do have the education.
I have 2.
The 6 is a routine scan. The routine scan doesn't pick up anything in...
I think you should try, sir.
It doesn't pick up anything. Spacecraft range.
I don't do a shit ton better.
Yeah, so you guys don't detect anything in about a 10,000 kilometer range around you. That's only medium range, but everything, the ship doesn't seem like it has been touched in any way. There are no other ships in the system. And so, not seeing anything, the captain of the ship kind of sets to a yellow alert, kind of be ready kind of standard. But beyond that, he goes ahead and orders typical refueling operations at the gas giant here. Did I have you guys add a week to your study period last time? I don't remember, Jack.
I don't know. We did not.
So both of you.
We did, but not for this jump.
Right. So both of you can add another week to your study periods.
Yay! I get to add something. I've missed so much. Like, I don't even know, like, if my character even has study periods for anything. It's like,
right. I think you were studying something, though.
I am. It's just like by now, I probably would have had it like 3 times over if I could have played.
Right. Yeah. So not only did my server go down from the power outage, Will, I think they had a power outage and his PC ate shit too, which is why he's not here tonight. He ordered a whole bunch of new parts, but they won't be here until tomorrow. So that's why Will is missing out. Weather on the West Coast has been bullshit.
It definitely has. All right. Well, I still have like 5 weeks to go on my studying.
Okay.
So do I.
So let's see. Yeah, that's 1. Whew. That was a shitty roll, but yeah. So you guys make your next jump. I don't remember. I did not. So You are in jump for a week, and pretty much, and this is the first time that you've done this because you haven't had another ship jumping with you, but the bridge, the captain and the XO are setting up like a they're doing a fleet jump, and so one ship actually does the astrogation, passes that data to the other ship, and they both do a timed jump at the same time. And the Leonard Husey is keeping up and doing great. This is working perfectly, and you guys arrive in this system within about an hour of the Deepnight Revelation shows up, and then like almost 45 minutes to an hour later, the Leonard Husey shows up, which is not uncommon. And this particular system, so the crew of the what was it called? Tamnus? No, probably helps if I look in the right book. The Yes, the Tamnus, which you learned is an acronym, and it stands for There Ain't No Money in Salvage. And so the crew of the Tamnus told you that this particular system, they kind of told you ahead of time of what to expect. There is no real actual main world here. It is a large belt. Like there's enough rock here that it would have been the what would have clumped together to form a planet, and there is a star here. It, but the this there's nothing has formed for one reason or another. And of course, the science division wants to look around. This is a huge belting community, and so there are a number of starports. I wouldn't call them starports. There are a number of small mining stations all throughout the belt, and you see that there are a number of small craft that move back and forth. But for the most part, what your passive sensors are picking up are these Tenzig-class utility ships that have J1, but they're just using them in system. And the crew of the Tamnus, the captain of the Tanmis tells you that that's not really unusual. So a lot of these ships, even though they have J1, they'll purchase it at Rowdlin's port and use it to jump to a system. And then a lot of these ships never use their jump drive again. They just use them as intersystem, either mining ships or what have you. And one side of this ship, I'll show Brian what this looks like. So one side of this beast, number 12, this is like a modular port, and most ships of the Torlex class, the crew uses this as like just extra storage because it opens up directly. The entire side of the ship opens up. But these bays, kind of like a modular cutter, these bays can be built. They can have special equipment put in. So if you're doing nothing but belt mining, they can have mining gear put in that allows them to do that. Or if they're going to be a passenger ship, then this can be configured for a passenger module that allows for multiple seating and maybe a few staterooms or whatever. So this section of the Torlex can be kind of made to do whatever you want. It is, like I said, it is 600 tons, and so it has a great many turret sockets for guns, and they put the sockets in there, but it only comes standard with 2 single turret beam lasers. There are 3 other sockets along the top and 1 on the bottom for adding additional turrets. So you could turn this thing into a little gunship if you wanted to. I mean, it's got crystal iron armor 2 generally, but so I mean, it's going to be a glass cannon, but you could really fill this thing up with weapons if you wanted to. And so, yeah, it's not a bad little ship. And of course, the crew of the Tamnus are really wanting to, rescue their ship, but they told you guys that they are working for a salvage magnate out of Rowdlin's port, named Tremden Rayner. And Rayner, they're not. Yes, they're working for him, but they're not his employees. They are freelance salvagers. And usually when you hear, oh, they're a freelance salvager, that usually means they're a pirate. But these guys weren't. They are actually doing salvage work, and evidently this region has quite a bit of salvage work to be done. It, Over the last week in Jump, you learned from the Tamnus crew that more or less there's a lot of ships that misjump in this region, and it has to do with jump shoals and some regions where jump space has a deeper depth than other regions, and so that can cause a lot of ships to, depending on where you're going and where you're astrograding from, they can of course hit one of these, and it's a rough ride for them, and they misjump. And so there's a lot of salvage to be had in here. Most of it is coming from the far side of nowhere region. So there are some familiar junk hulks out here of Great Republic and Commonwealth ships, and even dual alliance ships that are out here. But for the most part, and maybe that's where some of these people came from. Nobody knows, but they don't really. Nobody at Rowdlin's port and the crew of the Tamnus, they have no idea what the history of the region is. It doesn't seem like anybody cares. But this area is a big belt. Numerous little depots and ports all over the place. And there is, of course, a gas giant for refueling. And so, how would you guys like to go about this? Do you want to just do wilderness refueling, or would you like to pull up to one of these ports and just buy fuel?
I mean, we're not really strapped for money, and
But do we have local
but
credits?
we have local currency. Yeah.
So that is a good question. So most of the currency that's used in this region, what is it called? It is the, it's something ridiculous, like the Trenum, something like that. Anyways, the local, pretty much the highest local tech level around here is tech level 11, which, um, you know, most of these worlds are going to be tech level 9 or 8, and they import a lot of the higher tech level stuff from this system up here. But for the most part, everything's going to be around tech level 9 or 8. But even if the currency is at like tech level 11, just gonna I'm just going to bring it up that your manufactories aboard Revelation could easily chunk out counterfeit money if that's the route you want to go. I mean, of course, the crew of the Tamnus have a fistful of the local currency on them, and it's just not. I mean, you'd be able to rip it out without a problem, and probably be well on your way and gone by the time anybody discovered it.
If they even discovered it.
If they even discovered it, right. Now, if you, if obviously a 75,000 ton ship coming into a system like this, they've never seen a ship this size. So obviously, you guys are outsiders. If you show up and suddenly you're spending a ton of money, that might draw questions. So the other option, of course, would be to legally trade and barter. You're able to manufacture stuff that these guys in the belt have never seen before.
Do we plan on being here long enough to bother with the whole like currency business and stuff?
I mean, it's up to you. This entire subsector uses the same currency, so anything that you do here, you could use in other places.
Okay. Might be worth it to barter a little bit just to build a little bit of good faith.
Okay.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, I built this guy to be a broker, right?
Yeah, there you go. So they kind of picked the largest of these asteroid belt ports and kind of set course for that. And at first, so when you first come out of jump, there is pretty much a ton of local comms chatter between multiple ships that are moving about the belt. They're doing their mining and et cetera, et cetera. There's local, news broadcasts, television shows, whatever, but that are transferred between these different rocks that are tumbling about. And after a few minutes, the comms chatter like stops, like it goes dead. The only thing on the radio waves is television shows and news programs and whatnot. It's like everybody stops talking. They're all looking at sensors, looking at you. Nobody has said anything as of yet.
Do they think that just because they went quiet, we can't see them?
No, but I mean,
More of just like a awe and shock thing, more than
more
like a.
probably more and less an awe and shock thing. I mean, it probably is there's silence now for like a good 10 minutes on the radio bands. Do you want to initiate
We do
contact,
not
or
intend to hurt you all.
we
I
come
mean,
in peace?
to leave you in pieces. Ah.
You seem like a noble race. We mean you no harm. Yeah, I mean, are you just going to broadcast? So this is the other thing for Brian that I almost forgot. So the subsector, everybody calls the subsector Kenvab, and um, back in the far side of nowhere in the Commonwealth and at the Freeport there, you you encountered the language of Kenvab, and it's usually what you could be described as a trade language. In reality, it's really nothing more than like thieves' cant. So somebody would say something about the weather and whether or not a rainstorm is going to be moving through. And what they're really talking about is whether or not the authorities are sending a patrol through that may interrupt the night's activities. And so their entire language sounds like they're saying one thing but they're really meaning another. And it's not hard to decipher. I mean, you've heard the language before, and it's all in Old Arth. So this all came from Terra, you know, hundreds, maybe thousands of years ago. And so your translator picked it up right away. And in the last week of chatting with the crew of the Tamnus, I would think that you would have picked up most of it. Some of their sentences still may sound like complete gobbledygook, but for the most part, you can kind of figure out what they're saying. And so the entire region speaks this language of saying one thing and meaning something else.
Cool.
Kind of like when you have a conversation with your friends and all you do is speak in Monty Python quotes. It's like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the revelation kind of is pointed towards the largest dock, and I mean, are you broadcasting out that we come in peace and yada yada?
We're here to trade.
Fill her up.
Okay, so yeah, you whoever is doing the broadcast can make a diplomacy plus social.
I'm gonna leave that to you. I don't think I do talking to large groups. I'm a one-on-one guy.
I mean, you could leave it to the captain if you wanted to.
All right. God damn it! That's what happens when you roll a 4.
Yeah. Weren't you rolling like shit last week too?
No, I rolled like a rock star last week.
Oh,
2 weeks ago is when I was like, I rolled
yeah,
a 4.
yeah. 2 weeks ago you had problems, and then like I think last week Sarda was having problems. Will was having issues rolling. Like every time he'd roll, it was like a 3, a 2, whatever. So there's a bonus to this because Revelation is 75,000 tons and has a metric butt ton of beam lasers and a spinal mount. And the spinal mount may not be good at exoplanet because of its atmosphere, but it will seriously fuck up an asteroid. And so there's a little bit of a bonus here. You come in and tell them we're here to trade and buy fuel, fill her up, and after after you say this, there's another probably 2-3 minutes of pause, and then you get a basically a comm from this port that you're approaching, telling you that they do sell fuel. They are the largest port in this belt, and that they do tell you that it is unrefined though. And they tell
That's
you,
fine.
I gotta remember where this is.
Any reason it's unrefined?
Because everything here is like a Class D starport. Like literally, they cut out a cave in one of the rocks, and then like build platforms that you can land on, and that's about as far as it goes.
Gotcha. They did not bother with anything more.
So they tell you that that they will charge 500 Trenum. Is that God? That doesn't sound right. Yes, it's easy to counterfeit. I really wish that Mongoose would use bold type for these things. Fuck it, we're gonna go with it. So yeah, they charged 500 Trenum per ton for fuel. And the first thing that you kind of notice is that's pretty much a typical. That would be the typical imperial credit amount that you would spend for unrefined fuel. So there's almost a 1-to-1 ratio between the imperial credit and the Trenum. The difference, of course, being that the imperial credit here really has zero value to these people. They have no idea that it's backed by the largest empire in charted space. But it tells you that there's a 1-to-1 ratio. So pretty much you would know how much things cost. And so the radio operator brings up that they've never seen a ship like yours, and you must be new to the system. And they immediately ask if you misjumped.
Yeah. Like, did you mean to come here?
Right, exactly. What are you telling them?
Yeah, why? Of course. Why wouldn't we want to come here?
So the comms operator just comes back. Well, there's really not much here, and a ship your size, you're obviously not from this region, and so if you have anything that you would be willing to trade, that we would be amenable to to that kind of transaction in lieu of cashy money.
Oh, I mean, I think that's a good idea for us, right?
It is.
Since we don't actually have their currency.
You'd
But y'all
figure,
won't.
you'd figure a ship like ours that's going into deep space would have something like gold pressed latinum
I
bars.
was
Right?
I was
Something.
close. I found it. It's called the Transfer Medium and is shortened to Transmed is the name of their currency. So, I mean, essentially, she tells you that at the port they can use all manner of things. She says she doesn't know what kind of cargo you're carrying. She isn't thinking that you would have manufacturing capabilities. She's thinking that you have cargo, or possibly. I mean, it's pretty obvious that your ship is a military vessel, and so maybe you have some vehicles. She brings up that that they would be very happy to trade for small craft, something that can zip around the belt, or grav vehicles.
Do we want to part with stuff like that?
I mean, if their highest tech level here is like, tech level 11 is the highest. These guys are tech level 8. You could go to your manufactories and churn out like several tech level 12 grav, like just air rafts, and that would be worth probably millions of credits for them. So it
Okay,
would be
so we don't have
higher
to give
tech
them
level
anything
than
too
anything.
advanced.
Yeah, they would be
We
higher
could
tech
give them
level.
something basic and they'd love it.
Right, right, exactly. And I mean, a air raft. What is the tech level on an air raft? Oh, come on. Probably help if I could. Sorry, Roll20 deleted some of my shit again. There it is. Oh, this will work. It's an older printout, but it still checks out. So here's an air raft. I mean, these are only tech level 8. I mean, you could turn out some high, TL12 ones, and that it jumps from that 250,000 credit price tag up to, a million a pop, easy.
I mean, a couple of air wraps, I don't see any problem with that. That's nothing for us, and they'll appreciate it.
Right.
And they're currently TL12 or they're TL11.
So these guys are tech level 8.
Oh,
And I mean,
do we want to give them something that much higher in tech level?
I don't know. Following the Prime Directive certainly has not been this ship's operating mode for quite some
there's
time.
no prime directive. I mean, it's more like
I know.
Stargate. Your gods are lies. Here, have some guns. I mean, the other thing that there is there
Sorry, I
is
just caught what you said.
there is another one that they might be even more interested in. Actually, now that I think about it, uh, there it is. Prospecting buggies. Those are tech level 12, and they would love these. I thought I had. There it is. Hmm. Anyways, these things are kind of cool, to be honest. And they're tech level 12. They are not their best friend, but it's a miner's close buddy.
Right. I mean, sure that with the way that they're doing things, that would probably be great for them because all they really did was like clear out some land just to make what they got right now. It was like, hey, want to
Right.
clear out some more land for more shit?
And I mean, you guys, this tech level 12 prospecting buggy, this is like standard kit for a seeker mining ship. I mean, these are dime a dozen. You run into these things all the time back in charted space.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so how many? So the well, I guess we should look. So they
Like how
say
much? Yeah, I was thinking, how many of these do we need to fill her up?
that's a very good question. So I'm pretty positive that here we go. This is Revelation stats. Well, it says she's 59,400 tons standard. No, at 75,000. So you're at 75,000. And she has a reduced fuel requirement. It's been a while since I built a ship, so fuel. Close. Page 48. I want to say it's like 10% of your total ship's tonnage goes to fuel. Ship install fuel tanks is step 3. It says there we go. Power equal to 10% of the hull's total tonnage. Okay, so you need 7,500 tons divided by, say, 270,000 credits. Or wait, 7,500 divided by 500. No, wait. Sorry, my brain is mush tonight.
No apology needed. We have entered the
So
brains don't function time of year.
yeah, so the total is like 3,750,000 transmeds. You would need 14. You would need to manufacture 14 of these prospectors buggies in order to fill your fuel tank. Anybody would
So
like
you,
anybody who would like to can make another electronic sensors plus intellect or education as well.
All right, I'm scrolling and I keep scrolling past it.
Ooh, happy. Oh, and Mel. Okay, so usually in a belt system like this, at least from what you're used to, you would notice that you would expect that there would be like system defense ships, things of that nature, floating around here, something to protect the crews here. Usually, in a belt system, they're going to be of a corporate nature. You aren't really seeing much of that. Um, there are a couple of these Torlex class ships that are completely kitted out with guns, but they're only 600 tons, and that's the most that you're seeing. You're not seeing any big, semi-dangerous system defense boats or anything like that, which is unusual. And it kind of shows you that all of the activity in this belt is all by independence. There's no major corporation that holds sway here. The other thing that Pappy finds out is in scanning most of these asteroids that you're flying through, is that the major haul from here is platinum, silver, copper, gold, tritium, and a couple of other rare metals, cobalt, and some things like that. So these guys are hauling in pretty much what would be considered a mother load, here on Earth. It would be, these guys are making billions of dollars a day, but in
And there's
reality,
no corporate interest.
and there's no corporate interest out here. But in reality, the price on gold and silver drops when you haul in an asteroid that has 14 quintillion dollars worth of gold on it. So for the most part, these are rare metals that are used, in electronics and things like that. You're not seeing anything like iridium or anything like that, but there is tritium here.
Well, I obviously share that information because I don't know what to do with it myself.
Well, what it tells you is that there are a lot of rare metals that you could harvest here if you wanted to. Um, but that's entirely up to you. You could do a bit of mining yourself.
Gotcha. I mean, hey, look, we could do some trading, but we could also just make ourselves a little bit of money while we're here.
Well, not only could you make a little bit of money, but remember, a lot of your reserves were used in repairing and re-outfitting the three ships from the Soleimani, because you had to manufacture parts for them.
They're not freeloaders. They're joining us on our mission. Totally get it. Well,
They helped you hunt for food.
yeah, but this is feeling
Weird.
a little Deadwood to me. Like this, I'm not feeling the feel good vibes here in this. We can easily wipe out everything in this fucking sector in this system.
Oh, without a doubt. Probably in one or two shots. I mean, you could broadside, from one side you could fire everything and probably hit, 10 ports easily.
How has no one else discovered this area before this? Like, how is this like? How are they just chilling here, or like with this much resource and no one knows about it?
That's a good question. So the other thing that you pull up, Pappy, on your scan, and Mel kind of notices this too, is that off to this side, to the next subsector called VS21, looking at your other map. Oh, wrong map. Sorry. Another qualities of FSN region. Here we go. One of these funky maps. So we haven't looked at this map for a while. You are like right here. So looking at this next subsector, so you know that your point is VS-X, and from VS-X begins the big cross out here into the black nothingness of where terminus point is. So
So they're kind of just like on the edge of nothing.
you're on the edge of the actual galactic plane. And like this is terminus point, I believe. Yes, 5 is terminus point. So they're like right here. So you are right on the doorstep of the end of your mission. So if you essentially,
Wait, so where? I'm sorry, I missed it. What is? Maybe maybe I'm not scrolled out far enough. Where is our endpoint? You said
5
5.
right here.
Okay. Okay.
So you are almost there. So this is one. You didn't expect to see any more people out here, but that's kind of been the story of every place you jump to so far throughout this entire mission. Seems an awful lot of people out here in an unexplored area, but that's a, you know, Star Trekism, Planet of the Week. Um, but this is kind of the last stop of where you're going to be able to not only interact with a technological society, I mean, even if they're lower tech than you, but also to gain any supplies before making your crossing to terminus point.
So we need all the supplies we can get here.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. You're stocked up on food pretty good. A couple of those large dino babies that you killed on Admonson, you know, that filled your stores as far as dino meat, and as long as nobody gets tired of eating giant lizard, that shouldn't be a problem. But the rare earth, or the rare components, the raw ore and whatnot, a lot of that was used up in the repair of those 3 ships. So, I mean, if you need to construct more spares, you know, raw materials would be good.
I'm hearing is mine to our heart's content.
Yeah, you can go ahead and mine to your heart's content. And not only that, but not only with mining, but you could sell some of that for big money. Probably and the crew of the Tamnus tell you that this belt, they sell most of their raw materials to Rowdlin's port. They, you know, when they weren't out on salvage missions, a lot of times they would make ends meet by doing cargo runs of raw materials, because it's all used at Rowdlin's port for the construction of ships, and they have a contract. Technically speaking, they're the only ones that can legally make the Tenzig-class ship, but uh, the crew of the Tamnus tell you that there are several other polities in the region that will sometimes construct the ships themselves, and there's been, you know, blustering and you know, threats of retribution from Rowdlin's port over this, but nothing ever really comes of it, because there really is not a whole lot of law out here. The law is out here is whoever has the most money can hire enough people to make the law. It's kind of an
I
oligarchy
am the
out here.
law.
Yeah, I am the law. It's more or less an oligarchy, the entire region. So I mean, if it's up to you. If you want to do mining here and, you know, store up a bunch of ore, you can spend 2 weeks here doing mining, and then sell half of your yield at Rowdlin Port and never have to worry about running out of transmeds without having to actually um, counterfeit anything.
How long would it take us to do all that?
Probably about 2 weeks.
Eh,
I mean, you've got the ship, you've got the small craft to do it. You've done it before.
doesn't sound like a bad idea. Then one, we get what we need, and we also get whatever resources we need to do what we got to do too. I mean, that's my
Yeah.
take, but again, like,
I don't know what the hell we're gonna do with money, but I don't want to be in short supply if you have to fab something real fast while we're fighting
it's not the money that I care about; it's the
galactic
material.
black mold.
That's a funny way of saying it, but that's pretty much it, isn't it?
So,
It's like galactic black mold.
so yeah, you guys spend about 2 weeks here. The captain thinks that's a good idea. He agrees with you. He doesn't expect the need for a lot of money, but it would be good to not have to essentially break laws and hurt diplomacy while we're here by counterfeiting. If we don't have to do that, then we can just go ahead and reuse regular money, and not only that, but it replenishes our stores so that we can prefab or make any additional spares that we might need. I mean, even with all of the Band-Aid repairs and the kind of bare minimum dry docks that you've done, overall Revelation at this point is in pretty rough shape. I mean, she's running, but she's certainly not up to Imperial standards. I think the typical
You don't listen to him. You're beautiful.
yes. I think the typical routine is like every 6 months they put into dry dock for maintenance in the Empire. So she's a long ways out. So yeah, you guys spend like 2 weeks here. Both of you can make streetwise plus social check, or you can make a carouse plus social check.
How the hell am I a belter without streetwise? That's bullshit.
Yeah, you would think that a belter would have pretty good streetwise. Or carouse, like I said.
Boom.
Yeah, my carouse is not going to be good. So let's see.
So Pappy spends a lot of time drunk. It doesn't really pick up a whole lot of rumors. But Mel, you you guys aren't mining. I mean, Pappy's he's not spending a lot of time drunk. His off hours he's getting totaled, but the rest of the time Pappy's actually being a belter. Pappy is kind of put in charge of this mining operation. And but Mel, you have a chance with your broker skills, kind of you are brokering some of this ore as it's coming in, and you are raking in quite a bit of money of these transmeds. And all throughout the port, you are picking up these rumors about Rowdlin's port, and pretty much what the crew of the Tamnus told you that it does. It sounds like a free port. Pretty much anything goes. For the most part, Rowdlin Port is a salvage hub, and so all the salvage from any of these wrecks or misjumped ships that can be found throughout the subsector, anything that can be brought is taken to Rowdlin's port. So you kind of have it's conjuring this image of and it's a downport. So it's kind of conjuring this image of these, junkyards and used car lots that just across the entire planet's surface is the way a lot of these people are making it sound. But the other rumors that you are told is that there's really no central authority on Rowdlin Port. It's whoever is the richest at the time. And you hear some things about this the guy that the Tamnus crew have been working for, this Tremden Rainier, and he is known as the salvage magnate, and so his little empire has grown more and more and more, but he has mostly he he has ships and a couple of failed outposts that are built from broken down tech level 9 and tech level 10 ships. But his little empire has grown, but he has a white whale. And um and there are rumors about, he's sent ships out looking for this big score of high technology. Some say it's lost technology, and but nobody knows exactly where it's at. But he's sent out numerous crews looking for this.
Is he talking about us?
Well, no, they're not talking about you, but he evidently somewhere in this region is a high tech area of salvage that nobody knows where it is. And the rumors started when a couple of ships came in with some exceptionally old stuff, and but it was exceptionally high tech. And then there was some other stuff that was clearly alien, and it was a very, very strange manufacturer, and nobody knows where it came from. The crew that brought it in sold it and left, and nobody's seen them since. And so they've been sending out scout ships looking for this stuff. So that's the rumor that you pick up in the port. Pappy.
Is that random ship that we saw that we were like, is that a trap?
Well, I mean, he's sending out crews like that, yeah. I mean,
But like, didn't you say that there was a ship that we saw earlier? We thought like, that seems sketchy. Let's leave that alone.
Right, that was the Tanmus. So I mean, if you bring this up to the crew of the Tanmus, they will openly admit that yeah, they were out. Part of their salvage mission was to try and find where this stuff came from, because Tremden Rainier is looking for it, and he wants to get it before anybody else does. Now the other thing, like I said, the other thing that so when they rescued the crew of the Tanmus, the captain of the Tanmus gave Sarda the security codes and said, go on the bridge. If we're all bailing onto your ship, so go on the bridge and download our logs and whatnot and our sensor data, because he didn't want to lose it either. And really, the crew of the Tamnus doesn't care if somebody else gets it. Tremden Rainier probably gives a shit, but they don't care. All they knew is that they were stuck out in the middle of nowhere with a jump drive and maneuver drives that didn't work and a system on low power. So in this data, they saw Sarda was able to see the ship that attacked them, and it had all of the hallmarks. It looked a lot like an old droid ship with a couple of modifications. But if he didn't know better, first glance, you would think that it was a droid vessel. So, Pappy, go ahead and make a. Do you have profession belter?
I think so. That's what I'm supposed to have. Yeah, profession belter.
Go ahead and make a profession belter plus intellect or education, your choice. Ooh, look at that. So, Pappy directing all of these guys, you bring in 12 tons of various ore that is just for that's the lion's share. That's what Deepnight keeps, and an additional 12 tons to save, or to rather trade. And so that 12 tons breaks out into like 200 million transmed credits in the 2 weeks that you're here.
Like,
So,
hey guys, I got us a little bit of money.
yeah, no, had to destroy some rocks, but so at the end of your 2 weeks here of mining, the ship is ready to jump again, unless you guys have anything else you want to do.
Yeah, I know that the rumor is pointing us to the base. The base is where I'm probably going to be more likely to find more of the info. But I try to see if pick up any more rumors, like specifically about potential locations for this lost tech, because I'm hoping to God, because it's destroying, they might have the stage 3, black mold fucking cure.
Yes. And so go ahead and make another your choice streetwise or carouse check, plus social.
Him, just him, right?
Yeah, you're busy drinking after your successful mining ops. Okay, so you don't pick up any certain locations. There are some that claim that, oh well, it's probably out in one of these empty hexes. It's or somewhere out in deep space in the middle of nowhere. That's the most likely place. But there's others that are like, nah. There's a couple of there's like this system, and then there's a couple of other moons and whatnot that it could have come from. Nobody's quite sure. Um, and so what what you do know, or what you are told, is that Rainier has part of this obsession with finding this higher technology is that he has like his own little private museum, and one spacer that you talk to in the belt tells you that he actually got to see some of it. And every once in a while, Trendon Rainier will like take a crew and kind of show off what he has or what he's found, just kind of being a egomaniac. And he describes that this thing is a plinth with an orb on it, and um, the orb is covered in swirling patterns, and it was slightly warm to the touch. He's like he goes, it looked like a smooth rock with these swirling designs in it, and you expect it to be cold, but it was warmer than it should have been. And he tells you, he said that when he touched it, he got a little bit of a queasy feeling, especially if he looked at the swirling patterns too much. He said it gave him the creeps.
That sounds familiar.
Right?
Yeah, it always scares the piss out of me, but that's what SART is for.
Yeah, we'll let Sarda get the nosebleeds and the possible brain tumor. So yeah, I mean that's a rumor, and that obviously the description of that item sounds like stuff that you have already seen.
So we're like, all right, cool. Now we know he's not bullshitting us because we familiar with it.
Uh, give me 1 second.
I'm over here. You come to tell me that shit. I'm like, well, glad to know that while I was out there busting my ass, you at least got us some good information.
Yeah, we just need to find it, right?
Right. Did
Sorry,
I
I'm wait.
mention I wanted to retire from belting?
Sorry, I was waiting for a couple of Christmas presents to show up, and I wasn't sure if they were here yet or not. They are not. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to do before a jump to Rowdlin's port?
Now, wait, are we going to that port, or do we want to? Well, I guess we'll follow up. We'll go there and figure out
Well,
there.
that's the Rowdlin's port is where the crew of the Tanmas wanted to be dropped off. They're going to try and talk uh, Tremden Rainer into loaning them a salvage ship to go get the Tanmas and bring her back.
Okay, so we're stopping here no matter what.
Right. It was on your way no matter what.
All right.
Okay.
So you come into well, you first of all you can add another week of study. And
Okay.
you come into Rowdlin's port a week later, and it is pretty much as described. They don't have a high port. There is a down port, and again, of course a number of satellites around the system, so they detect you when you're about 8 hours out, and there's this, you're two ships. Yours is heavily armed. The Leonard Husey is no slouch, and so there's this almost a panic that goes on around the port, and then they calm you, asking or requesting ID and what's your purpose for being in system.
Returning lost gear or returning lost individuals.
And so you tell them that, and there's this kind of almost like a collective sigh of relief, and they tell you, first the port authority thanks you for assisting, and they give you clearance to dock or to land any ships that you want. And like I said, all they have is a downport, so you would have to take either a launch, a pinnace, or one of the scouts down to the downport. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to take an entire scout ship down, or you can just take a
Oh,
launch?
I
It's up to
really,
you.
I could have had a cooler line if I had thought about it. Oh well. I mean, yeah, let's just do the basics.
I'll
Nothing
let the
crazy.
pilot decide what the hell he wants to fly.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's take a pinnace.
Okay. You can do that.
Is that the more fun one to fly?
Pinnace isn't too bad. I mean, they're thrust 4 as well.
Yeah. I remember the pinnace being pretty not a bad time.
Yeah, I mean, they're not bad at all. Plus, they have an unrep system, 20 tons an hour. That's pretty good. So, you guys board into the pinnace, and Pappy can make. Oh, Pappy did, and so Pappy launches. You got the crew of the Tamnus, of course, in the back.
I show
There's
off a
an old
little
map.
bit while I'm flying because I can.
Right? Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's only a 6 to land, but as you guys are coming in, um, you bring this pinnace in, and of course, um, everybody's kind of in awe of it because the Deepnight pinnace is a tech level 15 ship. Nobody's seen anything quite this fancy before, and as you're flying overhead, you can see that for a salvage Freeport, this isn't half bad. It would be classified in charted space at least as a Class C starport. I mean, they've got some small malls. They've got some shipbuilding capabilities. I mean, it's not fantastic, but they've got a small shipyard where they're building these Tenzig-class 600-ton transport utility ships. And so, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities here if you want to do some tech trading or purchase some upgrades. as you are so Pappy is given clearance for a docking bay, and he starts to come in, and you are as you're coming in, your comms come to life, and it you are being contacted by one Tremden Rainier. Do you answer the phone?
Don't see why we wouldn't.
So he welcomes you. He tells you, I wanted to be the first to welcome you to Rowdlin's port. Don't pay any attention to any of these other salvagers. They won't have what you need. You'll want to do direct business with Rowdlin Port's largest salvage operation and manufactory, and that would be me. And he says, I would like to invite you to my personal manor, and perhaps we can discuss doing some business. Now, on your comms, you have a number of other contacts of radio transmissions that are coming in.
Is he the guy that we wanted to have contact with to like get
So,
whatever?
I mean, he is the biggest salvage yard owner, and probably the most powerful and the most wealthy here on Rowdlin Port.
Not a bad idea to like get on his good side.
Okay. So Pappy makes it look easy, brings this ship in, and as you are stepping out of the pinnace, and the crew of the Tanmas kind of come in behind you, um, you see that just outside the port there is a black limousine has pulled up, and the chauffeur opens the door and comes out, and he opens the back door and waves to you guys, and tells you that Mr. Rainier has sent his private car to come pick you up.
Didn't come in person, huh?
Couldn't stretch his legs, huh? He's one of those. So you get into this limousine, and it kind of drives you out to what would be considered the Star Town, and out to this large, it's a walled compound with a rather elegant looking, if possibly built from prefab parts, but it's a rather elegant looking, large mansion style house. And as the limo kind of pulls in around this fountain, coming down the steps from the entrance of this mansion, you see this man who is he's dressed rather well. Do I have a picture of him? Nope, there's no picture. He's dressed in like a white suit. You notice that the jacket is asymmetrical, so one side's a little bit longer than the other, but you can forgive him for that. And he comes out and shakes all your hands, and he says, "Oh, hello, welcome to my manor. My name is Tremden Rainier. I understand that you are new to the region. I'm sure that that there are many things that we could discuss, and I'm sure there are trade deals to be made." And he kind of leads you through his large house, and he leads you out back, and he has his servants. They're bringing all manner of food and drink, and there's sandwiches with the crust cut off, and he kind of sits down. And he says, "So, tell me, what are you doing in this region of space? Are you explorers? Are you raiders?" He says, "That's quite a large warship you came in."
Worship? That old thing?
Well, man, our ultimate function, we're a combination of explorer, but our ultimate function is military.
He says, "Oh." He says, "So." He goes,
So, do you have any nukes on board? Because we'll buy them.
So he says, so straight to business then. He says, as a matter of fact, I do have some atomics. He says, here, come,
This is when Will would be talking over me, telling me to shut the fuck up. We don't do nukes.
Yeah, well, Will's not here. You can do whatever you want. So he says, come on, let me show you to my private collection. And he has like a little like a small car come up, an air car or an air raft, and he gets in and takes you guys off to a little area of his property that there's essentially it looks like a big Quonset hut that's set up that, or at least the entrance looks like a Quonset hut. The rest of it kind of goes underground, and then outside of it, it looks like a racetrack, and you can see that there are a couple of air cars, or air rafts that are sitting there, and there's a couple of wheeled automobiles that are sitting there, and he says, yes, these are some of my most fun items that I have. He says, if you'd like, you can go ahead and take a spin around the track with them. He says, every once in a while I go out and I race them, or sometimes I just sit here and watch. I allow some of my servants to race them. They find it to be a really good time. He says, but you're not here for automobiles. I'm sure that you have much grander things aboard your ship. And so he leads you inside this Quonset hut, and it is set up like a museum. And one of the first things that you see, indeed, is this plinth with the orb. And it's kind of the first thing that you see when you walk in. And there's like he's got a special light over it so that it's always illuminated. And he tells you that so these are all pieces of salvage that I've collected over the years that have been brought in that there's really no explanation for them, and I believe that they've all come from a central location. And it is exactly as described. It is an orb that is covered in swirling patterns. I can actually see. I can look at Will's character sheet. Maybe. I remember how to do. There we go. Yeah, 2 in wow, he's got a 10? Shit. All right. Okay. Let's see what Will knows. Holy shit. Will knows. Okay. So Will so Sarda comes over and he kind of examines this thing, and you see him kind of wince a little bit, and he touches it, and he kind of he after a few minutes he backs away, and he kind of walks over to you two and kind of whispers under his breath, and he says, I don't know what this thing is, but it holds a lot of data, and he believes that it is from Oiskrusk's expedition that you've been following. So the droid that came out 300,000 years ago, he believes that this came from them.
Very good thing.
And so Raynor's like, oh, well, come over, look at this one. And it is, he has Raynor says, oh, this is I believe this is just a decorative object, but it's quite beautiful. And it also stands on a plinth, and Rainer really has no idea what it is. Um, but you guys, having seen some of, or having discussed some of Sarda's visions, and seen some of the diagrams, especially after being on that last planet in the Droin, um, that Droin dome that was destroying all the plant life. You've seen
Oh yeah,
this.
yeah.
You've seen this before. It's not really a decorative item. It is some kind of handheld device that the ancients used from Oiskrusk's expedition. You don't know exactly what its function is, but you've seen images of them using it. And Sarda uh, has seen images of Droin carrying this thing or using it in his visions. But Rainer thinks that he thinks it's like some kind of fucking statue or something. It's, you know, he has no idea. I mean, this is like a tech level 16 or 17 item. It's way above what even you guys would know. The next item he shows you is clearly not Droin. And this is on a rack, and it's a gun, but it's made for really big hands. Big hands, long fingers. Like if you tried to hold it and fire this thing, it would be difficult for you to do. There would be some kind of penalty because the grip is just so massive. And the distance between the grip stock and the point of balance seems all wrong for a human, unless either the weapon was exceedingly ill made or the person was exceedingly large. And both of you can make a investigate plus intellect check.
Oh, there you are.
Intellect, you said?
Yes. Ooh, okay. You are guessing that this is some kind of composite laser slash particle weapon, and it looks to be about tech level 12. It's not outrageously high tech. It is clearly, and this is sitting next to it, it's powered by a heavy backpack unit that basically they're similar to like your laser rifle. It plugs in to the ass end of it and powers this thing. And it would require, because of its awkwardness and the size of this backpack, it would require some adaptation to be comfortable for a human. Rainer has no idea where this weapon came from, but he is intrigued at the possibility that there is another advanced culture somewhere in this region. And he points out, there are obvious signs on that the device is clearly very old. He's guessing that it's probably several hundred years at least. And he says it could be that whoever made it has gone extinct. They're not even around in the region anymore. But I would be very much interested in trying to find more of these items. And then he shows you the pride of his collection, and it takes up the whole rear of this this little museum that he has set up. And it is this thing.
Ship?
And it is a mostly intact 20-ton ship. And at first, Rainer tells you, when I first found it, I thought it was some kind of racing craft. Look at how sleek it is. I'm sure it's very, very fast. But then I found that in the hull under the crew compartment, there is right now a non-functional, I know this because I tried to make it work, particle beam or particle accelerator weapon. And he says some of my engineers said that it was a rather clumsy design. He says that if it were to have been used, because of where it's stored, it would have leaked radiation into the craft. So whoever would fire this weapon would have some kind of death wish. It would be pure suicide.
Oh wow. Okay. Pure suicide, you say?
Yes, pure suicide. Whoever would like to can make a engineer plus intellect or education check. Wow. Melge rolled it. So did Pappy. So it is obvious to you that this, like the particle gun, this thing is around tech level 12. The cockpit, the species appears to be maybe a little bit shorter than humans. And this region right here has suffered some kind of rather serious impact. Rayner says that he was told it was found drifting out in space, but it appears to have been crash landed at some point. And he says that the underside of the hull it's basically sitting on the bottom of the hull. The underside is also severely damaged from whatever impact it suffered. But he says that the internal systems, he would be interested in trying to find another one, or at least parts of another one, because the internal systems are in such bad condition that most of them have, by the time that they found it, had been dismantled and removed. And so he pretty much at this point he just has it on display. But he tells you that this is the pride of his collection. He says, and he seems genuine in saying that he's fascinated by this ship and that he would want to know who built it and why did it have the weapon that it had, and you know, how did it get there, what was its fate. And so he tells you, he says that unfortunately we've never found another one, and it has defied all investigation by anybody that I've sent. And he says, so nuclear warheads. And he kind of takes you off into behind the ship into another section, and you see that there are racks on the walls, and you count 22 ship-to-ship missiles. And he says, and I have activation codes for all of them. And he says, most of the powers that be in this region aren't too interested in purchasing these, and so I've just kind of held on to them. But they are 4 megaton strategic devices that are built into these. Now, the one downside is they don't have any electronics or propulsion. But, I mean, I don't think that putting in that kind of thing for a ship of your magnitude would be difficult.
Nope.
Now, what else do we need besides this and access to that orb?
So he also has, he says, if it's not nuclear destruction that you're looking for, if you're looking for an ability to generate power, I have 3 fusion reactors. They're tech level 12 fusion reactors that he salvaged from a number of ships. Now, he does tell you that 2 of them aren't exactly functional. The third one is functional, but I'm sure that your engineers could look these things over and get them up to snuff. He says for the nuclear warheads, he is asking $10 million apiece. For the he has the smaller 4 megaton strategic devices. He wants 100 million. Now, all of them are in a functional condition. These could be, you could actually disarm or dismantle these missiles, and all of this stuff could be used as demolition charges, or you could repair the missiles and use them however you would like. There's 22 of them.
We probably should have talked before we came in here. What are we haven't really talked about, so we don't know what we're walking into, right?
Right. That's the thing.
What are we going to need to, theoretically, this might be the scenario we're looking at, obliterating the surface or burning the surface so rocks don't go flying out of every fucking planet within a system and moon, anything where this fucking fungus horse shit might be growing.
So
what are we going to need besides something that can make a star blow up, which would be ideal, but I don't think we're there.
So a planet is a pretty big chunk of rock. And I was watching it's funny because I was watching a video and somebody asked that exact question the other day. They were like, "Okay, what if we wanted to blow up Pluto?" Like, okay. And
I'm not looking to blow up Pluto. I'm looking to burn the entire surface of this black mold. Right?
Well, the point is the same. I mean, even if we sent every nuke that we have on the planet and detonated them on Pluto, it's unlikely that Pluto would be destroyed. I mean, Pluto's pretty small, so it would probably be pretty fucking devastated. No shit. But, I mean, it wouldn't explode or anything like that. I don't know.
How many uniform strikes would it take of like literally circling a planet? Like how many would we need to like obliterate the surface?
From what you
or at least cause a chain reaction that would do it.
So from what you have seen, if you wanted to go the nuclear route, it sounds like that might be the direction you're going. So from what you have seen of the fungus in the past, is that it grows out from these central clusters. Those would be where you would want to put probably a tactical nuke rather than a missile or something like that. It would probably be better to get up close, plant the demolition as a demolition charge, and get the hell out of there and light it off. Combine that. Keep in mind, your scientists aboard the ship from that dome of the plant killer, and the stuff that came back, they are very close to getting phase 3 of the it's not a vaccine at that point. It's phase 3 is more like a Agent Orange. So if you mix it with the nuke and then you spray around the area this phase 3 of the stuff, that would probably eliminate the fungus. But again, you don't know what you're going in. You don't know what you're going to find when you get to Terminus Point. All you know at this point is that long-range telemetry is telling you that there is a huge gravitational anomaly there. Like off the charts black hole type shit.
I mean, theoretically, we could also run into those fucking plant dudes' ships, which nukes would come in useful for.
Right. There's that.
True story.
But yeah, he tells
But
you...
if this stuff gets all over the planet, right, it's supposed to be able to destroy all life on a planet, whether it's a nanobot that just goes out of control, or if it's an actual fungus. I don't know. I wasn't around for that part.
Yeah, it's an actual fungus. And it
you'd
will
have to scrub the entire surface of a planet, unless we can destabilize that gravitational anomaly and have everything sucked in.
Yeah, there's that too. I mean, yeah, I didn't consider that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a good idea.
But yeah, I mean, this is a fungus that it will consume and consume and consume until it runs out of matter of biological matter to consume, and I mean it will even pull the nutrients out of soil, and at that point, it then starts to consume itself, and it kind of it shrinks down and goes into a dormant stage until some new form of matter shows up that it can eat again. If it is, as has been found, if the spores of this are on a rock and it blows out into space, it can go dormant and survive in vacuum conditions forever until it comes into contact with something that it can consume, and then it wakes up and it begins all over. And one spore of this stuff can literally start to grow into an entire cluster again. So it's possible. I mean, the more that you've learned about it over the years is that this may be an impossible fool's errand, just an impossible task. Because of essentially, if even one spore of this stuff gets away, the whole thing can start over again. So he
Right. So less explosive measures more burning the whole surface. But then again, I don't know.
So he tells you that these 3 fusion reactors, the 2 smaller ones are 24-ton self-contained reactors that will each output 360 power points each. And the third one is much larger at 120 tons with an output of 1,800 power. And these could be, like he said, right now they're kind of minimally. The 2 smaller ones aren't functioning. The third one, he has actually operating or functioning and is powering some of his manor, but he can replace it. So he would sell the two smaller ones. He says they're old. They've been rebuilt several times, but it is possible to get them into good working condition. He would want 15 million each for the smaller ones and 20 million for the larger one. And last but not least, he doesn't know if you have a use for these, but since you're looking for weapons anyways, he has how many of these? He's got 3. Find it. I know it's. There it is. He has 3 of these. These are from the far side of nowhere. They were brought in as salvage, and he's got 3 of these reaction drive interceptors. They're known as Thunderbolt class.
I don't think we need ships.
And
I mean, that would just be a fun thing to drive, just for the sake of driving it.
Yeah, thrust 12, right?
Yet.
He's asking 25 million a piece for those.
We're gonna need to do some bartering here.
What else has he got? He has. Oh,
I mean, to sort of think that he could access the data that's stored on that floating orb.
it's very possible. Let me see. It is possible he would have to spend some more time with it. Did you want him to discuss that with Rayner? Oh, he also has jump drives or jump drive components assorted. This is big boxes of jump drive parts. There's enough here to craft. Here, they're mostly tech level 9, tech level 10 drive parts. They're sorted, broken, useless parts that are still attached to them. Still, there are 200 tons worth of 200 tons plus 20 additional tons for every point of effect on an engineering J drive average check. If you wanted to go through these parts, and he would sell them for 25 million transmed for if you were able to find enough parts to build an entire jump drive. And he's got 2 Torlex-class ships that he would sell for 150 million each. Those are the same as the the same as the Tanzim.
Whoa. That thing that basically just turns into a glass cannon.
Right.
Could we have fixed the glass cannon with that, like, stuff that messes up the fungus? Just like...
You probably could. I mean, the only downside of the Torlex that I can see is that it's only a J1. Give me 1 second, I'll let you guys discuss it.
I absolutely have no idea how to play this. Like, I don't know what the best course of action here to...
I don't know. Something's telling me, if I'm fucking gonna metagame this, that maybe just going balls out military is not gonna solve this problem. Because unfortunately, we don't have anything that can cause a star to go supernova. So, there's got to be another solution. It's probably on that droid ship.
He tells you...
So we probably really, really, really need Sartor to read that orb.
So,
probably.
As you guys are kind of talking with one another, he kind of comes up to you and he says, I would be willing to, well, first of all, anybody who wants, you can make an engineering J drive, and I know that this is a Sarda's specialty, but anybody who wants, you can make an engineering J drive plus intellect or education check.
I'll try.
Best I could do.
Mel got it. You both got it.
Holy shit.
So...
Like, I don't even have jump. I just have engineer, and I somehow pulled that out of my ass.
In this 200-ton pile of jump drive components, you come across a number of items that don't seem to fit with most of the other items. The connectors are the wrong size. The shape of the component is different. You recognize them as being jump drive components, but you don't know what type or tech level of drive they would fit to. And he tells you, I see you've noticed some of those odd parts. We got those off of a Furbolg ship that was derelict, not very far from here. And he tells you that that the Furbolg, they've been raiders in this region for quite some time, but it seems like they may be in decline. There seems to be fewer and fewer of them every year, and thankfully, because they've been they seem to raid in order to get technology. And he tells you, he says, and this kind of brings me to where we might be able to perhaps make a deal. He says, I understand that you're very interested in these nuclear missiles and the tactical nukes that I have. You might be interested in some of the other things that I have. I would be willing to perhaps trade some of those in return if you were to investigate a location for me. I believe that I've been sending out crews looking for this lost technological race, and I believe that we may have found the location finally of where they might be. It's a bit of a distance for any of our ships, but I would imagine that you wouldn't have as much of a problem with it. How would that sound?
I mean, that
That's
sounds a lot better.
interesting. But you got to throw in a few hours of alone time between Sarda and that orb.
So he says, "Oh, certainly, your friend can look it over." Um. Okay. So what does Sarda find out about? So he immediately he Sarda spends about the next 6 minutes with it, and um he he comes back to you, and you can see that he's sweating. Um, Clearly, he's in some distress from a headache. But he tells you that it is a data recording device from Oiskros Expedition. It is intact and in working order. It
Oh,
has
well,
a full detail of the expedition up to this point, and it has full plans on engineering details on their ships. It has full ship's logs. It has everything that they did up to this point, including information on how to make phase 3 of the um, deterrent, the chemical.
so at this point, it's like, how do we get this guy to part with that? Because
Yep.
we want that more than anything.
Okay, well, I mean, you
Maybe we give up all the nukes. Probably don't need the fusion reactors. Take the weird random jump drive components only.
I mean, he doesn't even. I mean
But we want that fucking orb if we find him that ship.
so that orb isn't. He hasn't even said that it was for sale. This is just he's got it sitting there like it's a fucking decoration.
We can make him an offer on it, though.
Yeah, what I'm saying is we don't take, he wanted to offer us a trade for all this, for the nukes and shit for in exchange for us going out exploring that area, right? Looking for this droid shit.
Right.
He doesn't know it's a droid, but it's a droid ship. As I'm saying, instead of taking, making a trade for whatever the nukes and everything, maybe we buy a few of those weirdly shaped jump drive components. Take whatever the hell else we think we need, but the real trade is we'll go out there, but we want that fucking orb.
Go ahead and make a broker plus. You know, we don't. I told you to make a broker, and you haven't done a whole lot of brokering.
Well, when I set this up, the default, I didn't choose it. The default score for broker on this sheet is education, and I would love it to be education.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and allow you to do a. So you're negotiating a deal. Do a broker plus education check. It says here. It says here intellect, but I mean, if you are educated in making a deal, I would say that the education would hold out.
Here goes nothing.
Hold on to your butts.
Okay.
Damn it! I wanted better than that.
No, he says, what, this whole thing? Well, if it would get you to agree to investigate this site, then it's yours. He's more than happy to part with the orb of unknown origin for a sure thing of whatever you're going to bring back from this site. And you don't even have to bring back. He's not even asking you to bring back everything. He's asking you to bring back evidence that this is the site, and then from there he can send ship's crews to go out and salvage stuff. Now that he knows where it's at, he just wants you to go out and prove that it's there. But he tells you, or he shows you, it is all the way up here. This is where he believes it to be.
So we gotta go backwards a bit.
You just gotta go space north. I mean, you came from over here, so.
I mean, I think it's worth it for what we're getting.
And I mean, Revelation, he is under the impression that this is going to take you like 3 or 4 months. But he doesn't realize that Revelation, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, he doesn't realize that Revelation can do this in like 2 weeks. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So you'd be back in 4 weeks round trip.
And he did say that he gets first dib on salvage, so we get to go explore it.
Right. Exactly. Precisely. All right.
We'll have to come back here anyway. And once we have a clear idea of what the fuck is going on, and what our potential solution might be, we can then we're coming back to this station. We can buy what we might need.
Exactly. I think we will go
I like that plan.
I think we'll go ahead and break here for 2025. This is our last game for the year. We will be back on Friday, January 9th. We will see everybody in 2026.
Yeah.
Have a
Happy New Year.
happy holiday.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We'll see everybody on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.
All right, guys. You have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you as always.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.